guys, welcome back for another episode. And in this video we're going to be talking about the first 5 things you should do if you purchase a brand new G80 M3. And a lot of these things are going to be relating to the people that are waiting for a G80 and the ones that have recently bought one. And this is going to help you guys out in the long run. So these are some of the things I've done and it should help you out too. So I've owned this car for the past almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in June. If you guys watched the previous video, we went through a whole review about the car. We reached 10,000 miles on the car, but throughout the time, I do realize there's some important things. If you guys recently just bought your M3, M4, you should probably look into getting these things done. Some things I've already discussed, and I really think it's something that's going to be really important for the ones that are waiting for their M3 or M4, or the ones that just recently got it. All right, the first thing when getting into a brand new M3, M4, you have to ask yourself if it's pretty much reasonable for you to do. One of the most important things that I've done, and I knew getting into this platform, was to actually get the front at the minimum, PPF, right? So the whole front end, and actually the whole car, is actually PPF. And this is a debate about this, right? It's a debate if it's worth it, if it's a debate if it's the cost to value of it's worth it. Me personally, I definitely think it's very important for me because I do plan on keeping this car for the long term, and I make reasons why. This is going to be the last manual M3/M4 out there. So for me personally, if the next generation's coming out with the manual, maybe I'll get rid of it, but I highly doubt it. I think BMW has made hints that this is going to be the last manual M3, M4. So, and I know getting the car PPF is something that is probably not worth it for most people, especially the ones that only plan on keeping the car for a year or 2 years. But also, so you gotta think about this. If getting rock chips, swirl marks, all that stuff really bothers you, and all the pitting that, you know, these cars definitely eat up rocks and sand over time, it's gonna really take a hinder on the front, right? That's the most abuse you'll probably get, especially if you're doing a lot of highway driving. So at the minimum, you know, I honestly think it's definitely well worth it. The average price to get the whole front end, that includes the hood, the front bumper, the front quarter panels, sometimes it includes this pillar, right, on both sides, mirror covers, and also the headlight. Industry standards, you're looking about like $2,000 to sometimes $2,500. I know that's a high cost for some people, but to be honest, I have 10,000 miles in my car. I don't have any rock chips. And going around my car, there's 0 rock chips. There's definitely some rock marring from, you know, driving on the highway. This here, right, if I take this off, this whole piece, the paint's secure. The paint has not been scratched or dented, so that's gonna help prevent it from happening. Again, maybe doing the whole car is definitely not worth it for a lot of people, but getting the front end done is probably most important things, right? And it doesn't really help about the resale value. Nobody's gonna pay you extra for having the PPF, but if rock chips and, you know, pitting is something that really bothers you, and if you guys had experience with that, for me, it definitely bothers me, so it was definitely worth it when I added it onto the car. So that's one of the first things you should probably do to the car. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna bring up, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of you guys are buying a brand new G80 or G82 M4, is that if you guys opt for the executive package, or if you guys have the 360 cameras, just know that when you first get the car, you think that, you know, having the 360 cameras, right? 360 cameras, there's one in the front, there's obviously the ones on the sides, and obviously one on the rear, right? And it captures a 360 view of your car. One of the best things about this being so helpful is that, God forbid you get into a vehicle accident, right? You get into a fender bender or things like that, you expect it to start recording, right? Those are the things that you probably don't expect. It's not gonna start recording, and I'll jump into the car and tell you why. But I definitely want to take a second to really thank one of our sponsors, and that's coming from Simply Carbon Fiber. Again, Simply Carbon Fiber has been a sponsor of the channel. As you can see, this is a forged carbon money clip. I've been using it for the longest time. You know, you've been seeing it on the channel. This is something I use daily, especially since it's so compact. It holds all my cards, holds all my money that, you know, I need on a daily basis. And also, it definitely matches the carbon fiber shades they have sent me. So I definitely want to thank Sergio and the team over there for sending many different accessories over to me, and everything that I've received has always been quality. If you want to pick up anything from their website, I'll leave a link down below in the description, and you can use my discount code to save yourself some money. Again, they do really good high quality accessories. Definitely really enjoy the money clip. It's something that, you know, keeps your pockets very thin, and is not really bulky at all. So as you can see, these are part of the 360 cameras, and again, there's one in the front, one in the rear, one on the side, which is basically the side mirrors. One of the best things about this 360 camera is that if you are, you know, not near your car and you're away, let's just say you're parked at a hotel and you're kind of curious of what valet has put your car in, you could opt into your app and figure out where your car is parked, and also see what is around your car. But one of the biggest and best features about having a 360 camera is, God forbid, like I said, when you get into an accident or you're involved in a fender bender, you have the opportunity to be able to record, right? But you have to go into the system. So check this out. All right, so like I said, one of the most important things about getting the car is using the option, right? But when you get a brand new car, you have to go to your settings on your apps, on your driver recorder app, go to the settings and opt all for this, right? You're gonna wanna do 20 seconds before, and you're gonna wanna trigger the recordings 20 seconds after, because a lot of things could happen before and also after. But you also have to give it, you know, confirmation that you want it to start recording. So God forbid you get into an accident, like I said, you want it to record automatically, right? And you can also do it manually. One of the best things about doing it manually is that you can literally press this button here, which I'll show you later on as we get into it. And when you press that button, you'll see you could actually manually record your 360 surroundings in case, let's just say, you're going through an incident with aggressive driver, or you just want to capture something funny, you want to use it for later, or you almost got into an accident and you want to protect yourself, you can press that button and it records your 360 environment. But the key takeaway from this is that if you don't opt into your settings, this is not gonna automatically start recording. So that buddy of mine that got into an accident, unfortunately totaled the car, and this is basically in every single BMW. You have to go into your settings to opt for it to work, because without you saying yes, you want it to record, it is not going to record because of privacy laws and agreements. If I hold this button for, I think, about 3 seconds or 5 seconds, it starts recording. So recording in progress, right? You can see that it's recording about 20 seconds before and 20 seconds after. Once this is done, I'll show you exactly what you can see. There's really not much you can see right now because I'm actually parked in the middle of nowhere just to get some footage for you guys. But once it finishes recording and you're obviously parked and stopped, you can see the recording. So as you can see, it's showing all these different angles, right? And obviously if you're driving, you see more of a different variety of what's going on. But obviously we're parked here. This is what you can see, all different 4 angles, and that's gonna help you out. And again, the key takeaway is if you don't go into your system to initiate and giving confirmation that you want the vehicle to record in case you get into an impact situation where you get into a car accident, this won't record. And also one of the coolest things about this is that you can actually export this, right? There's a USB plug here, right? You could basically get into the USB and actually get that done and export into a USB drive. You could bring it to your computer and use it for anything you need, right? In case you need to go to a court case for your vehicle accident, or you just want to basically say, hey, this person that was driving next to me was a dumbass, and go like that. So this next topic doesn't really relate to the ones that, you know, bought a slightly used M3, M4. This really relates to the ones that are getting into a brand new car, right? And I've gone through a whole topic of the braking service. The braking service is one of the most important things. A lot of people think it's a myth. A lot of people think it's not necessary, but you definitely want to take your time with driving this car. The braking fluid that we discussed with Ben, his Instagram handle is Shame M3, or he may have changed it, but we went through a whole video when I went through my braking service. We showcased what types of different fluids, the viscosity of the fluids, right? Because in the braking period, the motor, all those components needs to get, you know, worked into where it needs to be, right? And also we realized that the rear differential oil, there was metal shavings, right? And that's normal. and they do change that out. But you want to go through the braking service properly, obey by whatever RPMs that the dealerships and also the BMW geniuses are telling you to do. And if you want the longevity of your motor to last, that is definitely a very important aspect of it. Again, some people think it's not really something that is necessary, but you're talking about BMW experts, people that have been working on the car, people who have been told by BMW that people should do, and it's something that's very important. So if you haven't checked that video out, I'll leave it down below in the description. It gives you some more information, and we really went into depth about that braking service, and it's very informational for a lot of you guys that are very questionable about it. All right, so this next topic varies, right? It depends on what insurance company you have. I've spoken to many different people about this, and I live in Florida. I have Geico. Geico has a specific type of insurance, right? It's called Geico's mechanical breakdown. I'm not sponsored by Geico. I kind of wish I was, because insurance in South Florida is very expensive. But the reason why I chose to stick with Geico is that they offer a mechanical breakdown. And if you guys want me to go really in depth into that video or that topic, let me know. But I know it varies from different state to state. For example, my father used to live in Georgia. He was gonna get Geico's mechanical breakdown. His rates for his X3 was a lot more expensive than mine. And what it is, it covers your car 7 years up to 100,000 miles. So obviously, realistically, it covers it up to 3 years, because your factory warranty covers you 4 years, right? For any mechanical issues, any warranty issues on a brand new car. So the 3 years extended that I get from Geico covers anything mechanical. So if my brakes fail, or if my engine blows up, or my transmission has a catastrophic failure, Geico will send an adjuster out and have that adjuster look at the car, diagnose it right from what the shop says, and then it goes through an approval process. And if they deem that to be a mechanical failure, right, they're gonna cover it. And they're gonna cover the cost of getting the car fixed. And you guys are probably thinking, oh, it doesn't really matter, that's not gonna happen. How do you know about that? I'll tell you how I know about that, because I had an F30 back in the day. And if you guys have been following me since the F80 days, you know, it's one of the things I added onto all my cars, is that I had the Geico mechanical breakdown. On my F30, I had a catastrophic failure on my rear brakes, where the DSC module failed, so my rear brakes locked up. And what happened was, I had zero time to get the car across to the breakdown lane. So by the time I got to the right lane, my rear brakes were, they went from the royal blue M Sport brakes to black, right? The paint got really hot, my center caps melted, my wheel weights melted, and the shop and also BMW wanted about $10,000 to get that fixed. So Geico actually approved those costs, and I was actually able to get that fixed and get rid of the car, because at that point I was getting myself into a F80. So again, that's my experience with Geico mechanical breakdown, right? And I'm sure there's many cheaper insurances down here in Florida. And just to give you guys an idea, if you guys have a used car, you guys can do it. Two of the stipulations is that the car must be less than 15 months old. So if you guys the first one's on title and you guys recently just bought it, you guys have an option of doing that. You also have to be a member of Geico, so you can't be part of State Farm and have that same or want to opt into that special insurance. And also, you have to be able to be less than 15,000 miles. So less than 15 months old, less than 15,000 miles, and you also have to be the first owner. And I've had family members right up in New York that have non-M cars. They have, you know, Subarus and stuff, and they've had their AC system fail, and they've gone through the whole process of getting that claim. It costs them literally about $250, which is the deductible, right? You can see on their website, and they got it covered. And that whole repair would have cost them about $1,500. So to my knowledge, it doesn't take a hit against you, but it is a coverage that you pay for. To give you an idea of how crazy that it's a no-brainer for me to stay with Geico for that coverage release, is that I pay about $50 to $60 every 6 months, which is like nothing as you compare to how much each part of this mechanical car would cost to fix. So, all right, so the last thing I wanted to mention about when you buy a brand new M3, M4, one of the worst things is obviously the brake pads, right? The brake dust on these cars, if you get the non-carbon ceramic brake pads, is that the brake dust is horrendous. I can tell you this, I've been driving, last time I washed this car was probably 3 weeks ago. I've been driving it, it probably has about maybe 200 miles on it. this is how much brake dust the car has right now. There's really not a lot of brake dust, and I'll tell you by wiping my hands on it. And this is me going through many different swipes, right? That is not a lot of brake dust for a high performance brake pad. And one of the best things about it, keeps my wheels clean. It gets me less opted to get the car washed, because there's many times where the brake dust or the wheels are covered in brake dust and the rest of the car is fine. You're just a little bit dust from pollen or whatever. But after having these pads in, I have so much less anxiety about having dirty wheels. And I know a lot of you guys are getting into this platform. That's one of the worst things that people complain about, besides obviously the front grille, things like that. But if you change those pads out and you throw in some brake pads, whether it's a SP1s from PSI or, you know, a different brand, they do so much justice on enjoying the car even more. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this video up. Hopefully this video gives you a better idea of the first 5 things you should do when buying an M3, M4. And also for the ones that are waiting for their M3, M4, hopefully this video helps you out. So when you get into your car, you can make those adjustments or plan ahead to make sure that you enjoy the ownership of this incredible platform. Again, I've been so busy being a father and also preparing for the next couple invasions. And I want to thank you guys for the amount of support. We're at 20,000 subscribers, which I never thought in my life I'd be at this point. And again, some people may think this is a small number, but for me, it's definitely a milestone. And I look forward to continuing making great content for you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video.